Hey, what's up everyone? So we're in the middle of fixing this generator, and one of the problems that came up was the pull cord was broken. Now I have videos on how to fix generic pull cords, or specific I should say, but this is going to be a very generic video. This is how you're going to repair it, whether it's a Briggs & Stratton, Honda, Kawasaki, anything where you can pull it off like this. Now if you have a 2-cycle, it's going to be very, very, very similar, however not exactly the same, so you can get some useful hints, but just know, and I'll explain the differences as I go. It's going to be a little different. So first things first, we need to get the old cable out, or the old line out. Actually, this seems like it's completely broken, so that's good. If yours is, maybe it broke a little bit further up, you have to remove it. This literally broke right there, so don't have to worry about it. Now, here's the thing. I am 6'3", 6'4" on a good day. And for a lawnmower, it's about 7 feet long. For this type of thing, it's going to be a little bit less. However, the customer gave me 7 feet of this cord. Now, two things about this. One, it's too long, as I mentioned. But more importantly, two, is I don't really like this style. I mean, it's a little thin. Now, a couple things about it. I'm sorry if you don't like talking, but you're going to deal with it. If it's too thick, I know thick is better. We all love thick. You know what I mean. But too thick means you're not going to get enough rolling around, or it's not going to store as much. So you have a very short amount. And, well, yes, it probably would last forever. You know, it's just not going to be a good idea. Now, unrelated to your problem, hopefully, I have to work with this. This is what they gave me. They said it came off like an old mower. And I believe it. I think this is an old Tecumseh's one. Could be wrong, I don't remember. But anyway, so you take off your line from both of them. There we go. This one's a little bit weird, so if you have this style, then follow my direction, but if not, it's just usual, like a normal knot. Something I did forget to mention is stay tuned to the end. Right now we have a complete recoil assembly except for the rope, but if you're having a problem with the spring, I will give you instructions on how to actually wind that spring back up, and then later I'm going to make a video on it, so if you still need more instruction, wait for that video. Anyway, moving forward. So first, now that we have everything removed, we need to make sure the spring is still good. How we're going to do that? First off, this is real, a little crunchy. But as you can tell, right now, this is the dogs are out. So if we spin it, it should retract, and it does. So that's important. If it wasn't, it means your spring is broken. And how you know which way to spin it is if your teeth are coming out with the dogs, that's the direction you want to spin it. And it's not a great idea to do what I just did, to let it go, but it's also not horrible. So now that we know that, now let's say I'm going to be doing this on a generator, and like I said, the generator is going to be a little bit different than a mower, but it's very, very, very similar. Usually on a mower, I need to spin this about 7 to 8 times, maybe less, maybe more. If it starts getting to a point where you can feel some serious tension, maybe you've gone too far, and then kind of stop, and then if you need to adjust, you can adjust later. However, with a generator, pressure washer, anything like that, that doesn't have a lead of line, then you're not really going to do it nearly as many. So what we're going to do is we're going to spin it like so. I don't really like that noise, but let's see if it continues. Could just be the fact that it's spinning the wrong direction. Now, I'm doing roughly a third of a turn every time. I'm keeping kind of a mental note of how many turns I'm doing. Right now, I did about 4 turns. Right now, I need to find where the line enters the recoil, and it enters right here. You can tell because there's a hole. Now, we need to find out where it enters here, so that's right there. So we're going to go one more over. Because at the end of the day, it's better to have, oh, maybe not. It might be too tight. In general, if it's not too tight, it's better to have one more turn than what you need. So we're going to take a screwdriver, pretty small screwdriver, and I'm going to jam it through there. That's going to hold it. You don't have to do that. It's just going to be a lot easier if you do. If you don't, then you have to hold it, and it's a giant pain. So if you got like paracord is a good idea, stuff like that. Or if you have this little kit, they usually burn the ends. But if you have like a roll of line, you're going to cut it to whatever length you need. Like I said, mowers are usually about 7-8 feet. This type of thing, 3 to 4 feet. I like 4 feet. And then you want to take like a torch and singe the lines, that way it doesn't unravel. This is already done, so we have to worry about it, but it is going to be too long, so we'll have to take care of it later. Now, what do? We have this rolled up. The line is right there. We have 2 options. One, we can go in this way, not all that great, or we can go in this way, and we kind of feed it through until it goes outside. And that's a lot easier. So I would recommend always doing that, just because it's usually a lot easier. If yours is a little bit different where it's not going to be that easy, you know, that sucks, but yeah, it is what it is. But you can do it that way. I just prefer doing it that way just because it's easy. Now, the knot that we do, I have no idea what the name of it. People told me what it is. To be honest, I don't remember. But you go under, you wrap around, and then you go through. Kind of shorten the end up a little bit. And if you really wanted to, if this is like a nylon line or something, you could take a torch and kind of like singe it all together. There we go. Like I said, I have no idea what knot that is. I'm just going to call it a pull cord knot. Now, at that point, you think you're done, but you're not. You need to go to your handle. You put it through your handle, and with this one, you need to put it through 2 pieces. And then, at that point in time, I mean, technically, you probably should be done. However, if you are like me and we didn't cut it, we're going to have to probably cut a little bit. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to get some pruner or a trimmer of some type, or a cutter. There we go. We're going to hold it. We're going to remove the screwdriver. Now, more likely than not, this might take the whole thing. I don't really know. It's pretty close to the whole thing. So since we're here, what we're going to do is this. We're going to pull it out, I don't know, 6 inches or so. Yes, I get the joke. Anyway. And we're going to do this. We kind of want a little bit of tension on it at all times. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold it back in place, and we're going to tie the knot. Same knot as before. The reason why I like this knot is it's a little bit thicker than the other knots. If you just didn't go around, like I said, I'm not a Boy Scout, so I have no idea what knot this is, but it's just a larger knot, and it's smaller than like a double knot, and you don't have to worry about it, like anything happening to it either. Let me cut it. Now we could singe it, but right now I'm kind of surrounded by gasoline, so I'm going to do that probably at a later point in time. But we should be singeing it. Your handle's probably not as complicated as mine. And then we hold it, take the screwdriver off, and look at that. It's nice and tight. Handle's good to go. I still need to singe it like I said, but you know, that's not 100% necessary. The smaller knots, you risk it going through the little hole. I mean, granted, majority of them are probably okay, but and let's talk about the thickness of the line. You don't want, like I said, too thick of a line or too thin of a line. Measure the line that you have, or if you just go on Amazon or eBay or Walmart or Target or Home Depot or whatever location you want to go to. If it says lawnmower line, it's probably okay. The only time you need to get the thicker stuff is like when you're getting into like heavy duty commercial stuff, like 13 plus horsepower commercial pressure washers and stuff like that. Now, if you have one of those, yes, you should get a thicker one. So you don't, this is not a good idea to pull start that. I have some of that line right here. And for reference, it's a number 5 line. It's 5/32 in diameter. I think this is 3/32 in diameter. So keep that in mind. You don't want to go too heavy. You don't want to go too thick, or too light. Another issue with going too thick is you might actually not be able to go through the little holes that provided in the handle or the recoil. So there it is. Good rule of thumb is 10 horsepower or above. You probably should get a thicker line. Even 10 is a little questionable. If you have a good high quality synthetic line, 10 should be okay. But anything like this is like 6, there's 5, there's 3, there's all kinds of stuff. There's 2 cycles. All those will take, you know, this style of line. So you don't have to worry about it. Now at this point in time, you can just go ahead and attach it and you should be done. Real quick, real easy. I'm not going to go over how to remove it on your machine because every machine's a little bit different. But if you have a Honda clone or Honda, literally just, you know, 10 millimeters, screw, done, you're done. Now, I promised I would tell you a trick on the spring, and I promised that there is a video coming over, but let me explain. Let's say this recoil piece is not in. You need to figure out which way it turns. Now, motors turn counterclockwise, so hopefully that helps. So you need to figure out which way the spring needs to spring. Usually there's like a little, like a U in there, and the spring has a U. You put that spring in the U, and you hold it. There's no zip ties, there's no nothing. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen people on YouTube try to zip tie a spring together and wind it up, and then put it in there and they cut it off, and then because they cut it off, it just opens up and then unravels because the bottom of the zip tie is still on the bottom of the spring. No, don't do that. You hold it and you wind it with your other thumb, and then once you get to your thumb, you hold it again and you start winding it, and that's it. Your hands are going to get dirty, I'm sorry, but it's going to happen. And once you get to the end, it literally just pops in. As long as you're holding it down, one little rotation is not going to unravel the whole thing. Like I said, my apologies if that is not a very detailed way of saying it, but you don't need zip ties, you don't need to tie it up, you don't need to roll it up into a little coil and then put it in. No. Put the U in this little slot or whatever it has. Everyone has a little slot. Whether it's on a little piece of metal that just kind of sticks out or whatever the case is. It's on one end of the spring, on the fat end or the outside end. It's going to be a little U. Figure out where that needs to go and just hold it. pretty simple, easy. Your headaches will be gone, I guarantee it, and you don't have to worry about stupid nonsense like that. So quick and easy video. This is how you redo a pull cord on a small engine. These are very, very similar to basically everything else. Briggs use the same system, Honda obviously, so on and so forth. The only time it's a little bit different is if it's like a 2-cycle. But even then, if it is a 2-cycle, really the only difference is putting the line in. And in general, you don't have to twist it. With a 2-cycle, you put your line in, and then you kind of wrap it around until it gets tight. And then you pull on it, and whatever like slack you have, you kind of push it through like this, and then you wrap it around one more time, you let go, and it's in. I'm going to make a video on how to do 2-cycle recoil, don't you worry. However, if that is enough explanation, feel free to continue on. I'm going to go ahead and finish that. Follow me on Instagram at smallengine101. If you like what you see, keep watching. Definitely subscribe. Put a thumbs up if this helped you out. If you have a recoil like this and saved you from buying a new machine or taking it to a repair shop, definitely appreciate the like and the follow. So I will see you on the next one. Have a good night.